Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of Whether or Not. I'm your host Jacob Morse and we have a lot to cover in this week's episode, including Nature in the News stories talking about the weather for the upcoming Super Bowl game on Sunday, as well as new research being done into star formation. Matt Hoenig also has a feature coming up later in the show talking about the art of snowmaking and its impacts on the local ski industry. All that and more, Whether or Not, starts right now. Welcome to Whether or Not. I'm your host, Jacob Morse.
And I'm your forecaster, Patrick Wright.
Well, Patrick, our temperature's going to warm up for this weekend, right? We're going to escape from those negatives that we saw earlier this week.
Yeah, we're going to actually get above freezing. How high will we go? I'll have more details coming up in a moment. We finally get to ditch the sweaters for a little bit.
Awesome. Excited to hear that. Finally get out of the chilly and polar vortex that we've had over the past several days. Well, Patrick will have that in a little bit, but first, here's Nature in the News. An Arctic air mass surged into the Midwest and northeastern United States this past week, sending temperatures well below zero for many locations and creating wind chill values that were dangerous in many locations. Numerous schools and universities, including Penn State, canceled classes due to dangerous wind chills on Thursday. However, it's in these situations that it's important to remember that it's not cold everywhere around the globe just because we're dealing with cold temperatures here in the United States. The southern hemisphere is in the middle of summer right now, and particularly parts of Australia are continuing to shatter heat records. Many experts are projecting that this will be the warmest January on record in Australia as a brutal heat wave continues there. The city of Adelaide broke an 80-year record by reaching a high temperature of 115.9 degrees Fahrenheit on January 24th. The heat wave has already led to health emergencies, energy problems, and fire hazards across the country, as well as disrupting the Australian Open tennis tournament. So while it has been very chilly here in Pennsylvania over the past several days, just remember that other parts of the globe are dealing with temperatures that are on the opposite side of the spectrum.
New peer-reviewed research posted in the Geophysical Research Journal suggests warming tropical seas due to climate change will increase the frequency of extreme rainstorms by the end of the century. Scientists sifted through 15 years' worth of data from NASA's Atmospheric Infrared Sounder instrument looking over the Earth's tropical oceans. The data pulled found that extreme storms, which usually produce 0.12 inches of rain per hour over a 16-mile area, formed when the sea surface temperatures were above 82 degrees Fahrenheit. The study also found for every 1.8 degrees the surface temperature of the ocean rises, we can expect a 21% increase in the formation of extreme storms. It has been known for a while now that warming sea surface temperatures will fuel more storms. However, the study is the first to quantify how much of an increase in extreme storms is expected. Current climate models suggest the sea surface temperature could increase by as much as 4.8 degrees Fahrenheit by the end of the century. Based on this model output, we can expect by the end of the century the formation of extreme storms are likely to increase by 60%. Even with an error expected in the climate models, this study paints a picture in order to help people to better visualize and prepare for the potential impacts of a changing climate.
Super Bowl 53 is coming up on this Sunday as the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams will compete for the Lombardi Trophy in Atlanta, Georgia. The game will be played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which recently opened in August of 2017 and features a retractable roof in case there is any inclement weather. However, the Atlanta Falcons owner, Arthur Blank, hopes that the roof will be open for the biggest football game of the year on Sunday. The forecast shows that skies will be mostly clear and temperatures will be on the rise in the days leading up to game day, but some showers during the evening hours on Sunday could impact Arthur Blank's plans and the roof might have to be closed for the big game. At least the weather conditions won't be as bad in Atlanta as they were back in the year 2000 when the city hosted their last Super Bowl. A major ice storm struck the southeast 1 week before Super Bowl 34, causing incredible damage across the region and leaving 500,000 people without power. And if that wasn't enough, another winter storm impacted the Atlanta area on Super Bowl weekend in 2000, leading to hundreds of wrecks and travel delays. This is one of the reasons why Atlanta has had to wait 19 years to host another Super Bowl after the ice and winter storm events in 2000.
Recent images from the Near-Earth Object Satellite and the Spitzer satellite revealed an adolescent star known as Gaia. 17 BPI shows a change in the amount of light the star produced. The Near-Earth Object Satellite was scanning the night sky when it noticed the change in light from previous passes. This change in light suggests the star is undergoing a rapid growth cycle that lasts for about 100 years. This growth cycle includes the star pulling in cosmic dust surrounding the star, adding to its overall mass. When this occurs, the star emits a higher amount of light. The same thing was noticed in 2014 by the Spitzer spacecraft. However, a connection was not made until now when the star flashed light again. The discovery can help scientists learn more about the process of star formation, which is usually shrouded in clouds of cosmic dust, the nursery for new stars. Stars form when the ball of dust surrounding the infant star begins to collapse. Eventually, a ring forms around the star, periodically heating up, then falling into the star, then emitting visible light observable by Earth's outward-facing satellites. Well, for now, we can say goodbye to the cold temperatures because we are on a warming trend starting today on Friday. So what can we expect in terms of the forecast? We do expect the possibility for a few snow showers to move into the southern portion of the state, but overall, it's a high pressure building into most of the region. But then by Saturday, we do see that high pressure shift, bringing in some mild temperatures into the region. And that continues into the day Sunday, where the high pressure shifts south, and then ushering in a mild day on Sunday, but the clouds do increase as we approach our next system. So what can we expect for the numbers as we head into the weekend? Well, we have a high of 29 degrees, so a very big improvement compared to what we've seen this past week. Under a mostly cloudy sky, though, some snow showers further towards the south, but overnight we get to a low of 19 degrees under a partly cloudy sky. Now, the partly cloudy sky will continue into the day on Saturday with a high of 35, so we stair-step our way up into a warmer temperature above freezing finally, so we may be able to ditch our sweaters by the beginning of the weekend. And then by Sunday, we get up to 41 degrees, chance for a few showers, but I'm not too confident in how that's going to play out. But for now, we'll go with a mostly cloudy sky, high of 41 under a generally, again, mostly cloudy sky. Temperatures warming up finally above freezing and into the 40s. So I know many of us are looking forward to that. Coming up next, Matt has a package on how artificial snow is made and how it impacts local businesses here in central Pennsylvania.
Well, snow can be pretty hard to come by here in State College, but we've done well at least this winter. With over a foot of snow on the season, State College has had more snow than in the past 3 seasons up until this point. But for some local businesses and ski resorts, this just simply isn't enough, and that's where these places turn to snowmaking. I sat down with Carl Schneider, who's a student here at the Department of Meteorology, and he just started his own snowmaking business. And we discussed the process of making snow and just how feasible it is for this region.
I do mobile snowmaking services, so I will bring my equipment that makes snow to people's property or a business location, parks, that kind of thing, to create snow for special events. Some people may think it's a little bit crazy, but I really enjoy it, and I enjoy the joy it brings to the people who sled and play in it.
Carl has been making snow in his backyard for several years now, and in the past few winter seasons has created this cool sled run in his backyard.
What's important about it is that we can have snow even when Mother Nature doesn't provide it, and so it's important around the holidays, important for people who enjoy snow, backyard sledding and snowboarding enthusiasts who enjoy the terrain park aspect of that would find it cool.
Snowmaking can be quite challenging as you need just the right conditions to make good snow.
To make snow, what we call the wet bulb temperature has to be below 27 degrees Fahrenheit. First of all, the colder you get, the better quality snow you make. And on the home scale, all you need is an air compressor and a pressure washer. And when you hook them up with the right nozzles, that will allow you to make snow. My house, I have several high pressure water pumps that provide me my water. I have an air compressor, and when I make the snow, we make a snow tubing run that's a couple 100 feet long. So it usually takes a couple nights to get that in, and so right now, since we've had a lot of cold weather recently, it's pretty good. The natural snow and the man-made snow are both ice crystals, but the man-made snow, the crystals are much smaller. So even when you create dry snow with the man-made snow, it's going to pack better, and so that's better for skiing, creating a base for ski areas, creating jumps, that kind of thing. Not so great if you enjoy powder. Now the natural stuff can come in many varieties, but generally it's less dense, it's going to melt quicker than the man-made snow.
Local ski resorts such as Tussey Mountain here in State College have been creating snow for several years now, making for a good snowpack that can stick around for several weeks.
Well, the challenge that a lot of ski areas face now is in a warming climate, we're going to see more rainstorms, and when the weather's cold, you can make a lot of snow, but the rainstorms really, and when you get temperatures into the 40s and 50s, really eats away at that snowpack. So constantly having to remake the snow, and that really drives the cost, the operating costs up, because they run very large air compressors and water pumps, and when you have to run those for more hours every season, that really drives the cost up, and not good for them.
While snowmaking does have its challenges, it's nice for skiers because they can continue to ski pretty late into the season, perhaps even into March or even early April, depending on the weather conditions. For Weather or Not, I'm Matt Hoenig.
Well, we finally warm up this Sunday, and then we see that trend continue into the beginning of next week. However, we're going to take a look at the weekend recap right now. We do stay below freezing on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday we get above freezing, 35 and 41 respectively, Saturday into Sunday. So this is the beginning of a warm trend. However, we do see the possibility for some rain moving in at the beginning of next week, especially Monday into Tuesday. We see a system move in, but then we get a break Tuesday night into Wednesday, where we see another system come in during the day on Wednesday, but then the temperatures begin to crash by the end of the week. Not as low so far as we've seen this past week, but we do expect a dry yet cool end to the work week next week.
Well, Patrick, it looks like those temperatures are going to remain above average for at least the first half of next week.
Yeah, so we can finally ditch the sweaters and get into some of the raincoats, because we do warm up a little bit, and then we see that downward trend in the temperatures again. So we aren't done with the winter, because it is beginning of February at this point in the year. So we do have that coming.
And this Saturday is Groundhog Day, so we asked you a question earlier in the show. The Weather Whiz quiz question was, what year did Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania officially start celebrating Groundhog Day? Was it A, 1847, B, 1886, C, 1925, or D, 1993? If you said B, 1886, you are tonight's winner. Pennsylvania's official celebration of Groundhog Day began on February 2nd, 1886, with a proclamation in the local newspaper, the Punxsutawney Spirit. The groundhog was given the name Punxsutawney Phil, seer of seers, sage of sages, prognosticator of prognosticators, and weather prophet extraordinaire, and his hometown of Punxsutawney was dubbed the weather capital of the world.
The following year brought the first official trek to Gobbler's Knob, and each year since, there's been a steady increase in participation of the event from people all over the world, gathering to see Punxsutawney to see if Phil will see his shadow. And I'll be one of those people this weekend, so it'll be cold, but I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, enjoy yourself there. Are you hoping that Phil sees a shadow and we get some more winter? Or?
If it's like this winter so far in January, nope.
Yeah, you want spring to come a little bit sooner, right?
A little bit, yeah.
All right, that's all the time we have for this week's episode of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Jacob Morse.
And I'm your forecaster, Patrick Wright.
Have a great rest of your day, everyone.